My name is Farzad, and I spent a lot of time about the meaning of life and who I am and what's the purpose of life on this earth. And I tried last few years to get help to share my ideas, my experience and knowledge with the society, but uh, it didn't happen. So after years, I decided to do it this way. I think it's the easiest way for me to describe and say what I think, what I experience. When we were born, at the moment, in a second that we are created, and I don't know where we come from. Whatever I say, it is just a belief. I believe it was spiritual level of being, energy, whatever we call it, before I came or I got this form, this physical form. I believe it was another level of energy and a spiritual level, but I don't know. So all what I can talk about it is say what happened after I was created in this physical form. So after I was created, the information that it created me, or the energies that gave me the personality or character, came through the physical and psychological, spiritual energies. So I was born, or I was um, created, and then through the personality of my mother, my father, nature, and the natural environment, I became physically and emotionally. So I got this identity, and then after 9 months I was born, and then I started to have this physical experiences, and then my intelligence start to grow up. And in all this time, who I was and I became, it was affected from the natural laws and identity, and psychologically from my mom, dad, environment, and everything else that everybody I think knows about it. And then as my intelligence started to grow up, the information I was getting about everything came through the environment. My parents, my family, school, TV, radio, everything in the environment. So then I become a person that I thought I am, but actually who I was, it was like a computer, that all these programs that I had in me came from environment. So I was reacting based on these information and these programs. And that was a level of being, or that is a level of being, that we call it material being. I had this physical body, and mentally and psychologically and everything else from the environment, my parents and everything else, where I was born, and language, mentality, and everything. And based on that identity that I call it worldly identity, who I was, for me, the purpose of life and happiness and love was using my intelligence and using the middles and everything what I have to satisfy my physical, my psychological, and everything what who I was or what I was. And the way how I learned, for example, money was a good middle or strong middle that if I would make money, I could use it to buy what would make me happy. Nice clothes, nice car, everything else. And then, for example, studying and going to school and going to college, university, and getting a degree to make more money. And with the money that I can get what I want, or with my um, the way how I was in the society. For example, you have a business or you have a degree. So using what you have to get what you want, that what you want is what it makes you happy and satisfied as a worldly person, because I was born and raised and my mind, who I was, it was full of worldly um, identity and meaning. So I was who I was, that I was created exactly like a computer. And after experiencing my worldly life, I had situations, for example, the way how I was grown up, I used everything what I had to get what I want. And what I want was the worldly stuff, looking good, having good stuff, and having money to buy what I want to make myself happy and satisfied. So I lived my life based on this personality, this identity. And for sure, like everybody else, I had beliefs that these beliefs, they were created through the environment, because our intelligence doesn't know everything. So our brain, our intelligence is not a perfect tool that we can understand everything. So we have an identity and we live with a lot of beliefs. Like, for example, if somebody that I know dies, I don't have any answer for it. Where is that person? So I believe that it's life after death or it's not. And based on the belief, so I live my life. And the first step in my life, I learned to get what I need as tools, to use these tools to have what I want. And what I wanted was things that it would make me happy. My physical body and my psychological identity, like they call it inner child, the unconscious person that we have, and we deal with it. Till after all these experiences and the life I had, I saw everything what I get. It makes me maybe happy for short time, and then it's boring. It's not the answer. And a lot of things in my life, I got it, and after I got what I wanted, it was just temporary. Then after that, I was not happy anymore and I wanted more and more and more till I saw that's not what it makes me happy, because whatever I get in the minute, for a minute, in that moment, it makes me happy, but after a while I get used to it and it doesn't it doesn't satisfy me. So then I started to um, think about this situation, and then having a family, getting married, having a child, having business, till I got to a situation that I lost everything. What for a worldly person, that's the purpose of life, and that's how he can be happy having all these things. So I started to losing everything what I lived my life to get these goals. And then it was a time I was alone and I started to spend time with reading and studying a lot of things, especially the writings from spiritual people. And then after starting this experience, I found out that if in the time that I wake up in the morning till I go to bed and sleep, um, if I want to spend a lot of time or most of my time with studying and experiencing and understanding other things, so I have to have a easier or simple material life that my mind, my brain would be um, not so complicated, not having too many information every day. So then I started to have a simple life and materialistic. With a less money I can live my life, simple life, and then I had more energy, more time to spend with studying and learning and understanding. So this was for me the maybe first and second step of my life and who I am and who I was.